A global namaste to all the entrepreneurs from all across the globe for a change. Because we do have a couple of them from Rwanda who will be joining us today and from Uganda as well. So thank you very much for being here with us at the India Business Group Chamber of Commerce Knowledge Cafe, where we believe that this is the time for all of us to have maximum knowledge and get into the innovative and the creative space. My name is Simran Pahuja, and on behalf of India Business Group, I'm going to truly thank each and every one of you for being here with us to take away something towards the last day of the month of July 2020. This year marks a very special year because it gives us the time to be the best version of ourselves. So as entrepreneurs, let's get started with IBG Cafe Knowledge. And today we have truly an interesting guest here with us. For all those who are new to us, please kindly do write to us and mention your email ID so that we can be in touch with you and let you know more about the India Business Group Chamber of Commerce, which is a non-profit organization and really helps you fulfill your dreams. Begins with a small dream, and we believe in making you dream big and actually help you fulfill your dreams as well. I'm truly thankful to our business guru, Mr. Vikash, who I call Dr. Vikash, for the expertise and the knowledge that he has. It's commendable. He's also the author of 5 books and of course the founder of IBG. Besides, well, let me tell you, Nazara Technologies is seen on every television channel. Let me tell you, he's the chairman and managing director of Nazara Technologies. So everything got to do with the game world, he tells that. May we please humbly request, with a bright smile, Mr. Vikash, kindly address everyone here early this morning. Good morning to you, Mr. Vikash.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me. So I'm not going to be speaking anymore about COVID. I think everybody has more than enough of that. We're just trying to see the back of it now as soon as we can. We have today a great representative of the country, Rwanda. You know, remember we had seen a film, he had shown us a film about the genocide. And that was so moving and very happy to have him here. What we need to do is tie up with chambers of, IBG is now an international chamber. We are tying up with chambers around the world because that's what will bring benefits to our members. And this is the way forward for IBG and for our members. So thank you for inviting me. Let's get on with the occupation of the day. Simran, go ahead.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your kind words. And we are truly delighted. Yes, IBG is international, and we've had several delegations from IBG, going international for business meets and really getting into entrepreneurship, going global. So I'm glad that before this pandemic, as you said, we're not going to talk about it. We were already global. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to request our very dynamic CEO, Priya Pansare, to kindly address everyone. Hello, good morning to you, Priya.
Good morning, Simran. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to IBG. I want to make a point that IBG is not only international, but we are tying up with a lot of domestic chambers also. So to all the people who don't want to do anything internationally, but want to do something only in India, of course, we are going pan-India everywhere. We are tying up with a lot of domestic chambers, and we are getting a lot of businesses from their members too. So I urge everyone over here to quickly come into our inner circle and be part of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Priya. And to know more about us, just send in your email ID and we shall revert to you and we shall connect with you. It will be absolutely our pleasure to let you know more about this. So thank you so much to everyone who's joined us. A humble request to all of you to kindly have your audios on mute and your videos off only for now. It's just a humble request to all of you. So I'm going to request you all, for IBG updates to kindly share with us your mobile number as well so that we could send you reminders for our webinars. At the same time, your email ID, we can let you know more details about the future webinars we have here with us. So we're truly honored to have with us Mr. Clarence Fernandes, the Chairman of Rwanda Renaissance and the former representative in India, Rwanda Development Board. Clarence Fernandes, who's going to talk about doing business with Rwanda. Now I'm going to talk to you about something very, very special. since, I'm one of those few lucky ones who's been as a brand ambassador for the Rwanda Renaissance, and such a wondrous time we had, which I will talk to all of you when we have the Q&A, wherever it fits in. But I'm truly delighted to meet our dynamic gentleman, our chief guest for today, Clarence Fernandes. And speaking a few words about him, spanning over 4 decades, his great career, he's done assignments with the Malaysian Tourism Promotion Board, the Indonesia Tourism Board, the Hong Kong Tourist Association, the German hotel chain, World Hotels, the US headquartered hotel chain, and the first ranked banking group of South Africa, and the most recently, the Rwanda Development Board. He's been a guest speaker all over the world, and we are truly honored to welcome our chairman of Rwanda Renaissance, Mr. Clarence Fernandes, as we leave it for him to address everyone who's here for the IBG webinar, post which we're going to have the Q&A open for all. So kindly have your questions in the chat box. May we please, humbly, with a global namaste, welcome Mr. Clarence Fernandes, the chairman of Rwanda Renaissance.
Thank you, Simran, for your kind words and introduction. Mr. Vikash Mitterson, Chairman and Managing Director, Nazara Technologies, President of the India Business Group Chamber of Commerce, and Honorary Consul for Mali. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure with you business opportunities in Rwanda. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Joseph Tabakiza, the Deputy Head of Mission for the Rwanda High Commission in New Delhi, Mr. Justin Nyaga, the Country Manager, Rwanda Air, and Mr. Charles Abonima, the Director of the Rwanda Airports Office. Thank you all for joining. Thanks also to friends from Australia, Nigeria, and many from Rwanda who are with us today. I have chosen to begin my presentation today with a quotation from His Excellency President Paul Kagame. I quote, "We cannot move the clock back, nor can we undo the harm caused, but we have the power to determine the future and to ensure what happened never happens again." Unquote. On the 6th of April, 1994, the then presidents of Rwanda and Burundi were flying back into Kigali after having attended peace talks in Arusha, Tanzania. Before their plane could land into Kigali International Airport, it was shot down, killing both presidents and everyone on board the aircraft. That triggered off the very next day one of the worst genocides in the history of mankind, the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Within a short span of just 3 months, from the 7th of April up to the 4th of July, over 1 million innocent men, women, and children were brutally massacred. Then on the 4th of July, the Rwanda Patriotic Front, led by the bold, the brave, and the dynamic Paul Kagame, overthrew the genocidal regime, seized power, stopped the genocide, and liberated the people of Rwanda. Over the last 26 years, President Kagame has steered the country from what was considered a failed state to become one of the most prosperous and progressive countries in the whole of Africa. The president can convince the people that there was no point looking back. There was no point brooding over what had happened. He convinced them that the only way was to look forward. He convinced them that they had the power to determine the future and move ahead. President Kagame and the people of Rwanda placed all their faith and trust in God as they worked very, very hard to rebuild their motherland. And what do we have today? We have a Rwanda today which offers you the highest levels of safety and security. A Rwanda today which firmly believes in good governance and zero tolerance to corruption. A Rwanda today which will facilitate all those who want to invest and do business with the country. A Rwanda today which will welcome all of you with open arms. With this background, ladies and gentlemen, let me now share with you why you should visit Rwanda, why you should do business with Rwanda, and why you should invest in Rwanda. Rwanda is a small but beautiful country located in the heart of the African continent. It borders Uganda in the north, Burundi in the south, Tanzania in the east, and the Democratic Republic of Congo in the west. It is spread over 26,338 square kilometers, and it has a population of 13 million. The country is divided into 4 provinces: the northern province, the southern province, the eastern province, and the western province. Each province is headed by a governor who has all the executive powers for the province. And then there are districts headed by a mayor who in turn has all the powers for his or her own district. In addition to the 4 provinces, you have the model capital city of Kigali. Kigali is often referred to as the Singapore of Africa because it is spotlessly clean. And I will tell you how and why it is such a remarkable city. The moment you think of doing business with any country and investing in any country, the first important fact is to visit the country. And so I am now going to take you on a visit Rwanda. To get to Rwanda, the most convenient and the best way is to fly the dream of Africa on one of Rwanda Air's modern aircraft. Rwanda Air offers you 3 times a week, a daily non-stop flight from Mumbai to Kigali. You get world-class in-flight service, and there is a combination of 3 categories: the business class, the premium economy, and the economy class. Once you reach Kigali, the first person you will encounter is the warm and friendly immigration officer at the Kigali International Airport. The Directorate General of Immigration and Immigration issued a new visa policy on the 10th of March 2020, wherein passport holders of all African Union countries, all Commonwealth countries, which includes India, and all Francophone countries will be given a visa on arrival. So you don't have to send your passport to the embassy or to the mission. You don't have to apply in advance. You get a visa on arrival. And what is more interesting, it is a gratis visa, a free visa. So you can see the government of Rwanda is inviting you and making things as easy for you to come and visit Rwanda. As Simran mentioned, I was with the Rwanda Development Board, which is a 100% government agency, for 5 years. And at the time of my exit interview with the then CEO of the Rwanda Development Board, he requested me to carry on doing business with Rwanda. And that is what I am doing. 3 months after I finished my assignment, in September 2016, I took the single Rwanda Renaissance, my organization, took the single largest delegation to Rwanda. We were 57 delegates in all. But what was interesting, out of 57, as many as 46 were religious tourists. They were coming to Rwanda, not for the mountain gorillas, which is one of the USPs of Rwanda, but they were coming to Rwanda to visit the holy land of Kibeho. The leader of the group was Dr. Father Clifton Lobo, who was coincidentally born and brought up in neighboring Uganda, but he had never visited Rwanda. And on his very first visit, this is what he remarked, I quote, "The world needs to learn from Rwanda." So this is the impression of a first-time visitor, Dr. Lobo. And why did he say that? Because there were so many incidents and so many programs which the government of Rwanda has put into place that it teaches the world a lesson. I'm going to share with you one or two. One is their program called Umuganda. What is Umuganda? Umuganda means community service. On the last Saturday of every month, the president of Rwanda, his wife, the prime minister, ministers, members of parliament, businessmen, and even the common man are all out in the streets of Kigali, cleaning the streets. This is the community service. So the president, the government has instilled in the people of Rwanda a sense of cleanliness, which has given them the tab of the Singapore of Africa. That's one. The second is, you see, they had a very violent past. And so the government has realized that the only way forward is through peace and harmony. I'm reminded of the First Lady of Rwanda. A couple of years, she was attending a breakfast prayer meeting in the United States of America. And this was her prayer: make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. So you see, right from the president, his wife, and everybody, they are inculcating in the minds and the hearts of the people to forget what has happened, the genocide that is past. The new and remarkable Rwanda stands for peace, forgiveness, for unity. And this has helped the country to forge ahead. Religious meetings are something which can take place in Rwanda. And I'm reminded of Morari Bapu, the religious leader, who took hundreds of Indians from India, from Dubai, from UK, from Canada, from America, from Singapore. They all came to meet in Rwanda for religious meetings. And what was special, His Excellency President Paul Kagame honored this religious group by actually coming and attending and opening this religious meeting at the Kigali Convention Center. So you can see the president, his wife, the government are all out to assist and help and welcome all of you, whether you're coming for business, for meetings, for investments, whatever the case may be. Now let me give you 5 reasons why you should invest in Rwanda. 1, there is sustained high economic growth. 2, there is a robust governance. 3, you have access to markets. You must not only look at the 13 million population of Rwanda. Rwanda is part of the EAC, the East African Community, and the 6 countries of the EAC have a population of 185 million. These countries are Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and South Sudan. And what is more, Rwanda is also part of COMESA, which is the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, which has a population of 500 million. So when you look at Rwanda, don't think that it's a small country, but look at Rwanda as establishing your base from where you can access the 500 million people in the COMESA. Then there is an investor-friendly climate in Rwanda and untapped investment opportunities across practically all segments. In infrastructure, you have rail and air transportation. EAC, you can make Rwanda a hub. In agriculture, which is the backbone of the economy, you can do food processing, mechanization, cold chain. You see, Rwanda has a lot of produce, and it is important to store this produce, perishable products in a cold chain. So you can help in a cold chain business, poultry, and even milk processing. Rwanda has surplus milk, and it's important to process the milk, otherwise it can get wasted. Energy, there's power generation, off-grid generation. There is significant methane gas in Lake Kivu. Lake Kivu is in the western province. It borders. One side of Lake Kivu is Rwanda, the other side of Lake Kivu is the Democratic Republic of Congo. So there is methane gas there, and that is, again, another source of energy investments. Then you've got, of course, tourism. Tourism today is the highest foreign exchange earner for the country. And through tourism, you can have access to setting up hotels, eco-lodges. Rwanda is very environment friendly. And so the government of Rwanda is encouraging eco-lodges, which help the environment, at the same time give you a chance to showcase your products, to showcase hospitality products. Again, when I attended the Global Gender Summit in November last year, I had the pleasure of meeting the then Minister of Gender. And she told me that there are so many deaf young ladies who are looking for a mime restaurant in Kigali, which will give much needed employment to all these deaf boys and girls who are all unemployed. This idea came to me when I visited two mime restaurants in Mumbai, in Chembur, called Madeira and Mime and the Mirchi and Mime. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, these hotels have had to shut, but we do hope that they will be restarted in the near future. When we come to mining, in mining, you can establish processing plants to smelt cassiterite into tin. You can have refining of wolframite into tungsten, tantalite into tantalum. Then you have the possibility of cutting and polishing gemstones. And more recently, gold refinery is now making its presence felt. The gemstones available are beryl, ruby, sapphire. So there's possibilities to have cutting and polishing outfits for these gemstones. In financial services, you have agricultural finance, SME financing, venture capital, and private equity funds. There are so many well-educated young men and women in Rwanda who are looking for opportunities, who need seed funding to start their ventures. And so venture capital and private equity funds would be very much welcome. And then you have a growing real estate possibility, because Rwanda is still developing. There are a lot of opportunities in real estate to set up low-cost housing, medium-cost housing, and even premium housing. When we come to ICT today, Rwanda is one of the foremost countries in the whole of Africa when it comes to information and communication technology. 4G is available throughout the country, so there are possibilities of setting up a key innovation center, a city. They need an e-waste plant. So there's a lot of e-waste. So anybody interested in setting up an e-waste plant can do so. There are possibility to set up a data center. Rwanda has a unique facility because everyone speaks fluent English and fluent French. And so they are all bilingual. You have a good, qualified, talented workforce who speak two fluent languages. So if you want to set up a BPO, a call center, you have good IT infrastructure, you have a dynamic workforce who are all bilingual. There are possibilities of setting up educational institutions, particularly vocational institutions. There are possibilities of setting up healthcare facilities, even a medical college, for example. But one must keep in mind that Rwanda is very conscious and very particular of quality. So whatever facility you want to set up, whether it's education or healthcare or IT, you must comply with the norms of the government. They are very particular. They are friendly when it comes to doing business, but they are strict when it comes, and that good governance has given Rwanda the cutting edge when it comes to doing business with Rwanda. Before I end, I would like to share with you a few incidents which have actually helped me to consider Rwanda my second home. My first visit to Rwanda was way back in the year 2008. I had the pleasure of meeting the then Prime Minister in London in November 2007 when he invited me to come to Rwanda. So in 2008, I went with a small group of 8 people to attend what was called the first EAC investment conference. It was organized by the Rwanda Investment and Export Promotion Agency, RIEPA, which later got rechristened as the Rwanda Development Board, which I had the honor of representing here in India for 5 years. Now, what struck me, the moment our group landed in Kigali, we were all taken to a tent right outside the terminal building, and each of us was given a local SIM card with preloaded talk time. Now, I have attended over my 40 years in industry so many conferences all across the world, but never before was I given right at the airport a local SIM card with preloaded talk. Why that was so good for me is because the 8 of us were staying in 3 different hotels. And for me to communicate with 8 people in 3 hotels would have been difficult without a local SIM card. So that's the first thing which struck me. Now, the RIEPA, which was the organizing or the government organization which conducted this conference, very smartly tied up with MTN, which was a local service provider. And so they gave MTN a booth space in the conference, and MTN in turn gave all the delegates, I think there were about 350, 400 delegates, each one got a local SIM card. So this was how a small country like Rwanda has a lesson to tell the world. The world needs to learn from Rwanda. Now, this might be a small thing, but it is an important thing when you're abroad. And a local businessman will not want to dial into. Of course, now we've got WhatsApp. There was no WhatsApp, so he or she would have to dial into India to speak to you if you had an India number. So with a local SIM card, it was easy to do business and meet each other. Okay, then again, on the conference got over on a coach who wanted to go and experience Rwanda nightlife. So
I'm sincerely apologetic
Hello?
about since we don't have.
These are small ways. These are small ways in which Rwanda has made a difference, and which has made. With these words,
You're audible, Clarence. You're audible.
Okay.
I know we are facing a little bit of network issue, but I'm going to request everyone to kindly bear with us because whatever is audible, please, I'm going to request you all to kindly bear with us, and we will try and do our best whatever we can.
Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay.
Yes.
You're audible, but your voice is not coming that clear.
It's glitchy. It's a little glitchy, but yes, you are audible. So I think we'll carry on. I sincerely apologize to each and every one of you. Kindly bear with us, please.
Okay. To sum up, I would like to invite all of you to come to the land of 1,000 hills and 1,000,000 smiles. Come, visit Rwanda, and I'm sure you will have a wonderful time there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clarence Fernandes. And since I have been very lucky to pay a visit, at Rwanda, and actually having met Her Excellency, the First Lady of Rwanda, Janet Kagame, as Clarence already mentioned, she's extremely dynamic. And I think the way things go there are completely unique, and they are very welcoming and warm people. So Clarence, here we have a couple of questions asked by the guests who are here with us and our IBG members. The first question is, may I please request you all to kindly have your audios on mute. How Rwanda is supporting the startup visa for the small-scale startups from India, rehabilitations and disability management and autism schools.
Simran, can you quickly repeat the question?
Sure. The question, Clarence, is how Rwanda is supporting the startup visa for the small-scale startups from India in the areas of
I
rehabilitation
understand.
and disability management and autism schools.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to submit your project to the Rwanda Development Board, and once they go through your project and find that it is a viable and acceptable project, they will give you all the facilitation necessary to set funds available through various NGOs, through the African Development. If you have any project, you have to submit it to the Government of Rwanda, the Rwanda Development Board. They will go through it, and once they are convinced that it is a viable project, they will extend the necessary facilitation, whether it is in the form of the visas which you need, or they will also introduce you to partners, NGOs, to the African Development Bank, to the World Bank, to Smart Africa, whoever would be interested in your project. See, when you are going to a new country, you don't know too many people. So the Rwanda Development Board is the one-stop shop to address all your issues, whether it is setting up, and also let me add that it is very easy to set up a business in Rwanda. It takes not more than 4 to 6 hours. The timeline is 6 hours, but honestly speaking, it gets done in 4 hours. And I'm saying this because I've actually seen it happen when I've taken companies to Rwanda. So in 4 hours, you can start your business in Rwanda. And when I have taken delegations to Rwanda, I have actually, that time I was with the government, I used to get my, the ROC, what we call Rwanda, the Registrar of Companies, I would get them to come to the hotel where we are having the conference. They would register your company at the conference venue, and then I would get a bank to come also attend the conference, and they would open your bank account at the company registered. You had a bank account open, everything was done. So it's very easy. So if you have a project in rehabilitation or they are particularly helpful or encouraging people who want to help disabled. So there's a lot of funding available. All you have to do is to present your project, which is a viable project, and the Rwanda Development Board and other government agencies will support you to the maximum.
Very much. There's yet another question from Uday. Uday, I'm going to request you also to connect with Clarence and go ahead because I'm really liking the questions that you've been asking. So this calls for, also going to share the email ID of Mr. Clarence Fernandes for all of you to connect with him directly as well. Thank you, Uday. So what are the policies and procedures to set up small scale industry and even taxing on the products, etc.?
Hello.
Yes, Clarence, please.
Yeah.
What are the policies and procedures?
You see, whether you're setting up a SME or a medium size or a large industry, you have to go to the Rwanda Development, submit your proposal to them. It's very simple. Okay, number one. Number two, there are zones. So an economic zone would help a small and medium enterprise because there you have the entire infrastructure. Hello.
Yes, Clarence.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like any SEZ, the SEZ has all the infrastructure, all the facilities. So an SME would have the benefit of setting up his venture in one of the economic zones. Spread not only the one in Kigali would be a little more expensive, naturally, because it is in the city center, in the capital city. But you have economic zones in the provinces where the costs would be less. And I must tell you, we have an Indian company from Ludhiana who is going to be setting up a soaps and detergents manufacturing unit in Rwanda. Now, this company, Anumat Limited, is exporting soaps and detergents from Ludhiana to various countries in Africa. And when he came with me on one of my delegations, just as you came, he realized that it is much easier to set up a manufacturing facility in Rwanda and supply from Rwanda to East Africa, to Comesa, and to other parts of. So it was cost effective for him. So that's what he is doing. And like him, any SME who wants to come, my email ID is very easy, rwandacalling@gmail.com. I repeat, rwandacalling@gmail.com. So anybody can write into me and I would connect them with the concerned government agency, with the High Commission in Delhi. We also have an Indian High Commission now in Kigali, and that makes things easy, you know. So also for healthcare, there are a lot of hospitals in India who provide healthcare services to Rwandans who want to come to India. And before they had to send their passports to the Indian High Commission in Uganda, in Kampala, but now we have a full-fledged Indian mission in Kigali. So it's easier both ways. And I must add that we have had Rwandan nurses and management students who have come to train in India. So that's another area where you could do a training project, you know, get students to come and train. They've trained in hospitals over here. They've trained in companies like Tata Consultancy Services. So there are a lot of possibilities, and it is our own very own Indian Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi who remarked on his first visit to Rwanda, India is proud to be a trusted development partner of Rwanda. So you see, right at the top level, there is good synergy between India and Rwanda.
Right. Sure. Thank you so much, Clarence. And, you know, this is unbelievable. You said in a span of 4 hours, we can do the documentation and start your business. I think this is truly remarkable. And that too, you know, you went to visit Rwanda, you will really get, you know, the nitty-gritties, which is absolutely marvelous. We have a similar question since we spoke about the medical aspect, Clarence, and this calls for, what are the opportunities for collaboration in medical value travel between India and Rwanda?
Well, there are ample opportunities. Basically, what I would suggest, any company who wants to engage in medical value travel, they should first come to Rwanda. They should visit Rwanda. When they come, even before they come, I would be more than happy to put them in touch with the key people whom they would need to visit. Because medical facilities are important. So it is important for the concerned organization who wants to promote medical value collaboration to visit Rwanda, meet people from the Ministry of Health and from the hospitals, because a referral from Rwanda always comes through one of the hospitals over there. So when you meet the concerned officials from the doctors from the concerned hospitals, that facilitates the program. So hospitals in India who have done well with this have come to Rwanda, met people, the concerned people, and then that takes it further. So there are immense opportunities for enhancing medical value between India and Rwanda. And now, because there is an Indian High Commission in Kigali, there's no hassle of getting the visa. Our Indian High Commission is extremely supportive, just as the Rwanda High Commission in Delhi is extremely supportive. So there's good synergy between the two governments, and that facilitates trade, tourism, investments between our two countries.
Thank you. Clarence, what are the prospects for the food processing units? Please.
There is very good potential if somebody wants to set up. Rwanda has very good fruits. And if somebody wants to set up a food processing unit, they can set it up in one of the SEZs in the economic zones. So again, you have to apply to the Ministry of Trade and Industry. I would be there's a very young and dynamic minister now heading, you see, Rwanda is very strong when it comes to women empowerment. More than 50%, I think it's 54% of parliament are women. So the head of, the Minister of Trade and Industry is a young lady. So she and her team would be more than happy to facilitate anybody who wants to set up a food processing unit in one of the SEZs. I say SEZs because you get concessions when you set up in the SEZ, because like anywhere in the world. So if you take UAE also, they have the SEZs which they promote. So Rwanda is also promoting several SEZs, and so a food processing plant, because the requirements, the fruit are available locally. And so you can set up a food processing plant, you can set up a milk processing plant. There are a lot of opportunities in that area.
Clarence, we have yet another question from the Ayurvedic and herbal world. What are the opportunities for Ayurvedic and herbal products, manufacturing here and selling in Rwanda?
Manufacturing here and selling in Rwanda. Why don't you manufacture in Rwanda? No, I'm saying this because you get, see, if you manufacture in the country, you get a lot of facilities, a lot of benefits. So instead of manufacturing here and sending it to Rwanda, you will get good qualified labor there. You will be able to, as I said, don't look at Rwanda, which 13 million. Look at 500 million in the Comesa region. That's the common market for Eastern and Southern Africa. So to service 500 million with your Ayurvedic products, it's easier if you set up a facility in Rwanda, use Rwanda as your hub, and from Rwanda you supply, rather than shipping goods from India, your products from India all the way to Rwanda. Remember, Rwanda is a landlocked country. And being landlocked, we don't have access to any harbor. The nearest harbor is either Mombasa, which is in Kenya, or Dar es Salaam, which is in Tanzania. And you know, sometimes the cost of shipping your goods from Mumbai to Mombasa or Mumbai to Dar es Salaam is cheaper than sending them from these two ports into Kigali, because there is no access and there's no railway. So it goes by road and it takes longer time and the charges are high. So it is much easier. I mean, this is a suggestion. Yeah. If the company sets up, you get herbal plants are available over there. So you can set up your you know, on a trial basis, a small unit. And when you find there's a $500 million market which you can access, and it's easier to supply your goods from Kigali to this market rather than ship them all the way from India. So not only that, you must remember, you get exemptions when you manufacture in Rwanda and supply to Europe, because there are a lot of exemptions. If you ship your goods from India to Europe, the taxes, the duties are high. But if you manufacture in Rwanda and ship your goods from Rwanda to Europe, it's much cheaper, because the European Union is encouraging countries like Rwanda to develop. So they give a lot of concessions if you manufacture in Rwanda and then supply maybe to Europe or to the rest of Africa. So that's something somebody should seriously look at setting up in Rwanda. One more thing, I said in 4 hours you can register your company, but Rwanda has gone one step ahead. You can, sitting in your office in Mumbai or Delhi, you can register online your business in Rwanda. You attach your documents, send them, and then you will get your registration of a certificate of incorporation right in your office. So even before you go, of course, I always recommend or suggest somebody goes to Rwanda, sees the country for themselves, and then decides to set up business. But sitting in Mumbai or Delhi or any part of the world, you can apply online for your registration to the Rwanda Development Board, and you will get your certificate. You just have to uplift your documents, and they will send you the certificate of incorporation. So it's very easy.
Wow, this is really interesting. Now there is yet another question which also says that, you know, Ayurvedic and herbal products manufacture and sell in Rwanda. So you've almost spoken. If you have any points, you can cover it up with the next question. What are the opportunities for construction company and for manufacture and selling in Rwanda, the Ayurvedic and herbal products? So we can take both of them. If you finished with that, then we take opportunities for construction company.
No, so I didn't get, you said construction. Rwanda needs a lot of low-cost housing and middle income housing. There's a requirement, and so there are huge areas. There's land available, not in the city, obviously. And Rwanda is now introducing the smart city concept. Now, what is the smart city concept? To decentralize Kigali, which is, you know, any city is always crowded. Huh? So just as you have Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, which came up when Mumbai was getting saturated, Rwanda is now setting up satellite cities, smart cities in the provinces. And so there are opportunities to develop low-cost housing in the various provinces also. So you get, again, as I mentioned, you have a mayor in charge of each district, and then you have the governor. So you can, through the regional governments, you can access housing projects, low and middle income projects. And of course, there's also a requirement. But today, Rwanda has a lot of five-star deluxe hotels. You've got the Marriott, the Radisson, the Serena. You know, there's a lot of, so it's important to have a good mix. So eco lodges are what is, and also the eco lodges are very friendly. They are environment friendly. So the government is trying to promote more of the eco lodges all over, you know, so that it's environment friendly. At the same time, you have a good, clean room to sleep in.
Wow. Clarence, what is the exposure for the IT sector, the technology as solution provider with various segments to add value, and next form of automation as Industry 4.0? How do you go ahead with this?
See, as I mentioned, Rwanda is ahead of the, honestly speaking, it is ahead of the rest of Africa when it comes to IT. We have Smart Africa, which was originally a project which was called Transform Africa, which was started by the then Ministry of ICT in Rwanda. It is now, Rwanda realized that to expand the IT technology and the IT business and the IT opportunities, they should not restrict it to Africa, to Rwanda. So now they've expanded and got governments from different countries to contribute and to support Smart Africa, which is headquartered in Kigali. So the opportunities are ample when it comes to IT. As I said, it's important to send in a detailed proposal to the government. And I must tell you, my colleague, when I was with the Rwanda Development Board, Paula Ingabire was heading the IT department. Today, Paula is the Minister of IT. So you can see, she's a young lady, but she was heading RDB's IT department, ICT department. Today, she's the Minister of ICT. And they are always proactive when it comes to any new venture which wants to set up or do business. There are a lot of IT engineers from India working in Rwanda right now. So their opportunities are ample.
What is the tax and VAT percentage in Rwanda in case one sets up factories in SEZ and outside SEZ? Also for the trading company, what will be the tax structure? So the tax and the VAT percentage.
There are various concessions when you are setting up in SEZs. If you can send me the contact of this person who's asked the question, because it's a big list, so I don't want to give him a wrong figure. I will send him the full brief when it comes to the tax structure. What is the investment? What is the tax? What is the rebate? So just send me the name of this person and we'll send the complete tax structure and the various rebates which you get. With the various rebates available for specific investments. Rwanda is very tax friendly. Rebates, when they know you are bringing in investments, when they know you are helping the country to develop, they are more than happy to give you benefits. So whoever has asked this question, give them my email ID, rwandacalling@gmail.com. Let them send the request to me. We will give them all the details, because it's a big list of incentives which are available. There are fiscal incentives, there are non-fiscal incentives. So it's a long list, so I will send them the details on email.
Sure. Thank you, Clarence, for that. And I'm going to request all of you, since we have a couple of lots more questions, maybe I can't pick up all of them. So I'm going to request you all to kindly send in your email at rwandacalling@gmail.com. And Girish has already mentioned it here as well. How stringent are the import regulations for processed food products? How does one get to know more about Rwanda import regulations for processed fruit? Processed food.
Okay. Well, I will have to get specific information on this and send it to whoever has asked me the question. I don't want to give some wrong information or half-baked information. So let me answer this when I get the question from the person concerned. I will send a more precise question. There's something which I just got a message from my good friend, Daryl Collins. Daryl, let me tell you about Daryl Collins. Some years back, we brought in nurses to train at the Fortis Institute, Fortis Hospital in Mulund. And Dr. Anita Collins, his wife, was at that time the nursing director of Fortis. So she arranged a wonderful program, 1 month training for the nurses. This was in November, December of a particular year. I don't remember the year. And in January, I was taking a delegation to Rwanda. So I invited Captain Collins, who's a retired captain from the Indian Navy and was then with Jet Airways. I invited Captain Collins and Dr. Anita Collins to come as part of my delegation. Both of them came, and you won't believe they have now settled in Rwanda for the last, I think, 6 years. So so that's how friendly Rwanda is. So it's not only to do business. Even somebody who wants to settle there, they can. You know, years ago when I was doing work with the Malaysia Tourism Promotion Board, they had a program called the Silver Hair Program. Now, what is the Silver Hair Program? Any senior citizen from India or from anywhere who wanted to settle in Malaysia could transfer a certain amount of US dollars, I don't remember the figure, and they could get a permanent residence in Malaysia. Today, Rwanda has developed so much and they have such good facilities that I'm sure a silver hair program, because you know it's pure, it's clean. And a very important thing which I slipped my mind, Rwanda is one of the safest cities, not in Africa, but in the world. Young girls and women can move out at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning. Nobody would ever touch them. So it's safe, secure, and that's what you want, you know. So the crime rate is very, very low. So this dynamic couple, Captain Collins and Dr. Anita Collins, are now settled in Kigali. Now he just sent me a prompt that Rwanda is one of the 5 countries in the world which have effectively controlled the coronavirus. There were just 1,800 cases from March till date, but 50% have already recovered, and there are only 5 deaths. So the World Health Organization has publicly declared that Rwanda, in the whole of Africa, this is the only country which has effectively controlled the coronavirus. You see, today, as Dr. Mr. Vikash said, we don't want to talk of COVID, so I'm not talking too much of COVID. But this is something very relevant, that Rwanda has effectively controlled the coronavirus spread because they have put into place measures and stringent measures. You know, when you've got to be strict, you've got to be strict. So they put into measures into place which have controlled the virus. Rwanda from 1st of August opens up. The airport is opening up on the 1st of August. Unfortunately, our Mumbai airport is still closed, and the lockdown has been extended till the 31st of August, so it's not going to open yet. But Rwanda has opened the airport, but keeping in mind stringent norms. So if you're flying into Rwanda, you have to first have a certificate, a COVID-19 negative certificate, not longer than 72 hours prior. When you land into Rwanda, you have to again do a COVID test. You're kept in quarantine. When the test results are clear, if it is negative, then you can move out. So they are very strict on when it comes to controlling something like the pandemic.
Right. Thank you, Clarence. In fact, who better than me, because I have the first-hand experience by being with you for the Rwanda Calling as the brand ambassador, you know, for the very renowned brand. And I must tell you that I truly had time of my life, with the warmth that people have, and the business delegates that we met. We were so lucky to meet, in fact, Her Excellency, the First Lady of Rwanda as well. So please, Rwanda is definitely really beautiful as far as business is concerned. Really, I think things are much, much better, and we could really have a calling towards Rwanda as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. So I'm going to wind up with the 3 questions, and I'm going to request you to sum it up in 30 seconds if possible. And as I said, you can always connect with Clarence at rwandacalling@gmail.com. So here are the 3 questions. What is the prospect of manufacturing agriculture small parts in Rwanda, and the scope for textile company manufacturing by setting up factories in Rwanda, and any potential for fabric, apparel, bed linen, and quilts? We just wind up in the next 30 seconds, please.
Yes, manufacturing is relatively low key as of now. So there are tremendous opportunities when it comes to manufacturing, whether it's fabrics, whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it's textiles. So there's a lot of scope to manufacture in Rwanda. Again, I repeat, in one of the SEZs, because you get a lot of benefits when it comes to rebate of taxes and duties. So Rwanda is open for the manufacturing sector. There are a lot of opportunities. Establishment of processing plants, So it is tremendous. There are tremendous opportunities.
Sure. Thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone for being here with us. And my sincere apologies for everyone who misbehaved. I sincerely apologize on their behalf. But thank you so much for being here with us at IBG. And Mr. Vikash Mithra saying towards the end, we are truly thankful to Mr. Clarence Fernandes for being here with us. Vikash, you'd like to say a word?
Are you asking me?
Yes, Vikash. Just before we...
So to keep it short, I think this was one of the most informative sessions that we have had so far. And we must explore, even IBG will explore Rwanda a bit more. I'll speak with Clarence later. Thank you very much. Thanks, Clarence.
Thanks, Vikash.
Thank you so much.
And giving me this opportunity.
Yes.
I enjoy being part.
Thank you, Priya. May I please request you the last word from you before we invite everyone for our next session?
Thank you so much, Clarence. It was a very good session. We will definitely do some collaborations with Rwanda government. I will take it offline from here with you, separate. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Priya.
Thank you, Priya, and thank you to everyone who's here from IBG. We truly appreciate your time and your interest, in Rwanda Calling. And thank you to everyone who joined us today as well. You can connect him, Mr. Clarence Fernandes, on rwandacalling@gmail.com, and do send us your email IDs and your telephone number so that we can text you about our next session. Tentative, it's on the 18th of August, but still we will let you know about the schedule. Thank you so much, and global namaste. Take care, and happy business to all of you. We are all getting into the creative zone. Please be creative and innovative. God bless. Have a great weekend ahead and a happy August month. Thank you.